The Bugatti sat silent under the bright lights of the luxury garage, looking more like a sculpture than a machine. Its glossy carbon fiber body reflected thousands of dollars worth of equipment surrounding it. Engineers, specialists, and technicians had spent 8 exhausting days trying to bring it back to life. $500,000 had already been spent on diagnostics, replacement components, software analysis, and emergency consultations from experts around the world. Yet, the car remained dead. No sound, no ignition, no hope. The owner, a billionaire collector known for owning some of the rarest vehicles on Earth, stood quietly at the edge of the garage staring at the motionless hypercar. Every expert who touched it had delivered the same painful conclusion. The damage was too complicated. The electronics were completely unresponsive. The repair could take months, but what happened next would become a story that people in the automotive world would talk about for years. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and never judging someone by their appearance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs inspiration, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that true talent often comes from the most unexpected places. A few miles away from that luxury facility, a man named Ethan was finishing another long day at a small repair shop on the edge of town. Life had not been kind to him. 3 years earlier, his wife had passed away after a sudden illness, leaving him alone to raise his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Every day was a balancing act between earning enough money to survive and being present for the little girl who had become his entire world. His clothes were usually stained with grease. His hands were rough from years of work. Most people who saw him assumed he was just another struggling mechanic trying to get through life. What they didn't know was that Ethan possessed an extraordinary gift. Since childhood, machines had spoken to him in ways that seemed almost magical. He could hear an engine for a few seconds and identify problems others missed for weeks. He could feel vibrations through metal and understand what was happening deep inside complex systems. But talent doesn't always create opportunity. Without expensive certifications or prestigious connections, Ethan remained invisible to the elite automotive world. That evening, as he prepared to close the shop, an old friend called him. The friend worked as a transport driver and happened to be at the luxury garage where the Bugatti sat motionless. He casually mentioned the situation. Most people would have laughed. A $500,000 repair problem that specialists couldn't solve. What chance did a small-town mechanic have? But something about the story caught Ethan's attention. The details didn't make sense. The symptoms sounded unusual. Very unusual. Against his better judgment, he drove to the facility. When he arrived, security guards nearly turned him away. His dusty pickup truck looked completely out of place among the luxury vehicles, parked outside. The expensive suits, polished shoes, and spotless uniforms created a world where Ethan clearly didn't belong. Eventually, after several uncomfortable conversations, someone agreed to let him take a look, not because they believed he could help, because they had already run out of options. Inside the garage, dozens of eyes followed him. Some looked amused. Others looked annoyed. A few openly laughed. How could this ordinary mechanic possibly succeed where world-class specialists had failed? Ethan ignored the attention. His focus immediately settled on the Bugatti. The machine looked perfect, from the MyNT. Outside, but something felt wrong, not mechanically wrong, something deeper. He walked around the vehicle slowly, observing, listening, thinking. Years of experience had taught him that complex problems often hide behind simple causes. While experts sometimes search for complicated answers, reality occasionally chooses the simplest path. He asked for a report detailing everything already tested. The stack of documents was nearly an inch thick. Thousands of diagnostic procedures, hundreds of replacement attempts, countless hours of analysis. As Ethan skimmed through the paperwork, his eyebrows narrowed. One detail stood out, a tiny detail buried beneath hundreds of pages, a detail nobody considered important. His heart began to race. Could it really be that simple? The thought seemed ridiculous. Yet, the more he considered it, the more convinced he became. Without saying much, he walked toward the rear section of the vehicle. Several technicians exchanged amused glances. Some shook their heads. Others checked their watches. They expected another failed attempt. Instead, Ethan carefully inspected a specific connection point hidden deep within the car's electrical architecture. Then he did something that seemed almost laughably simple. Something that took less than 5 minutes. The garage remained silent. Everyone watched. Nobody understood. Then Ethan stepped back. He nodded once and pressed the ignition button. For a moment, nothing happened. The silence felt endless. Then suddenly the entire building shook. The Bugatti roared to life. A thunderous sound exploded through the garage. Lights illuminated. Systems activated. The engine awakened with a violent growl that echoed across the facility. For several seconds, nobody moved, nobody spoke, nobody breathed. The specialists stared in complete disbelief. The owner stood frozen. Technicians looked at one another as if reality itself had broken. 8 days, $500,000, dozens of experts, and a struggling single father had solved the problem in less than 5 minutes. The silence eventually gave way to chaos. Questions flew from every direction. People demanded explanations. They wanted to know what happened. What secret knowledge had Ethan uncovered? The answer stunned everyone. A minor electrical grounding issue had triggered a chain reaction of protective shutdowns throughout the vehicle systems. The fault itself was tiny, almost invisible. But because everyone assumed the problem must be extremely complicated, they overlooked the simplest possibility. Ethan's years of practical experience allowed him to see what others missed. Not because he knew more, because he approached the problem differently. For him, machines weren't collections of expensive parts. They were stories waiting to be understood. The billionaire owner approached Ethan personally. For a moment, the exhausted mechanic expected criticism. Instead, the man thanked him. Genuinely, respectfully. It was something Ethan hadn't experienced in a very long time. For years, people had judged him by his circumstances, rather than his abilities. That night was different. Word spread quickly through the automotive community. Videos appeared online. Industry forums discussed the incident. Stories circulated about the mysterious mechanic who succeeded where elite specialists failed. Suddenly, opportunities began appearing. Repair requests arrived from collectors around the country. High-end garages offered partnerships. Manufacturers requested consultations. For the first time in years, Ethan's future looked brighter than his past. But the most meaningful moment happened several days later. After finishing work, he returned home carrying a small surprise. Lily ran toward the door as she always did. Her smile immediately erased every difficult moment of his day. They sat together on the couch. He told her everything. Not about the money, not about the fame, not about the attention. He told her about perseverance, about believing in yourself when nobody else does, about staying humble even when others underestimate you. Lily listened carefully. Then she wrapped her small arms around him. In that moment, Ethan realized something important. The Bugatti had never been the real victory. The real victory was proving to his daughter that circumstances don't define a person's worth. Talent doesn't require approval. Character doesn't require recognition. And kindness remains powerful even in a world obsessed with status. Months later, Ethan's life had changed dramatically. Financial stress no longer dominated every decision. His shop expanded. His reputation grew. New opportunities continued. Arriving, yet he never forgot where he came from. He still treated every customer with respect. Still helped people who couldn't afford expensive repairs. Still remembered the difficult years that shaped him. Because success had taught him something many wealthy people never learn. The greatest value in life isn't found in luxury cars, expensive buildings, or bank accounts. It is found in the ability to lift others while climbing yourself. Before we reach the ending, I have one special request. Please comment below with the words, "Never judge a book by its cover." It would mean a lot, and I'd love to see how many people believe in giving others a chance before making assumptions. As the years passed, the story of the Bugatti became legendary. Not because of the car, not because of the money, Not because of the technical achievement, people remembered it because it revealed a truth that applies far beyond automobiles. Every day, extraordinary people walk past us unnoticed, people carrying incredible talent, people fighting silent battles, people whose potential remains hidden behind ordinary appearances. The world often celebrates titles, credentials, and status. But true, greatness can sometimes be found in a small repair shop, a worn-out pickup truck, or a single father doing everything possible to provide for his child. The specialists had knowledge, the billionaire had wealth, the Bugatti had value, but Ethan possessed something even more powerful. He possessed perseverance, humility, and the courage to trust his instincts when everyone else doubted him. And sometimes, those qualities can accomplish what money never will. If this story touched your heart, inspired you, or reminded you of someone who deserves a second chance, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel. Because somewhere out there, another Ethan is working quietly, carrying extraordinary gifts that the world has not yet discovered. And sometimes all it takes is one moment for everything to change. The Bugatti started in 5 minutes, but the lesson it taught will last forever.